It's early spring in the north. The ice has just receded from the shallow ponds, and the amphibians have begun to emerge from their winter slumber. Ponds like this one serve as breeding grounds for many species of frogs and salamanders. These eggs laid along the bottom likely belong to spring peepers, a tiny cryptic species seldom seen but easily heard calling during the night. Despite their tiny size, the spring peeper has one of the region's loudest calls. Some eggs have fungused over, likely due to being unfertilized. This large mass with thousands of eggs was laid by the wood frog, one of the first frogs to emerge in the spring. Wood frogs have a distinctive clucking call that can be heard mostly at night in vernal pools, ditches, and other small water bodies. While the spring peepers and wood frogs are resilient species that endure the harsh conditions of spring in Canada, there is another that emerges even earlier than they do. Meet the blue-spotted salamander, an elusive species of mole salamander that inhabits the Canadian Shield. Blue-spotted salamanders can be found from Labrador and Nova Scotia west to the Interlake region of Manitoba and north to near Hudson Bay. Being mole salamanders, they spend most of their time burrowed deep underground, where they mainly feed on insects and other small invertebrates. By mid-April, while ice still remains on the surface of many ponds, the blue-spotted salamanders begin their annual migration towards their spawning grounds. This remains the best time of year to see them before they head back to the forests and retreat underground once again. These salamanders will mate underwater, and the female will deposit the eggs on vegetation near the bottom of the pond. Fishless ponds and vernal pools are key to this species' survival, as their eggs and larvae would quickly be devoured by fish. Spawning will be finished by early May, and the eggs will develop over the course of a few weeks before hatching into tiny aquatic larvae. The best shot at seeing these salamanders is heading to a breeding area at night in early spring. Otherwise, they can occasionally be seen under rocks and logs that have been flipped over during cooler weather. Here I have placed a salamander larvae in a temporary container for better observation. The presence of large, feathery gills and the development of the front legs before the hind legs distinguishes them from tadpoles, which are the larval stage of frogs and toads. The larvae are opportunistic predators, feeding mainly on small aquatic invertebrates. They will take a few months to develop and metamorphosis into smaller versions of their adult form. Most will transform and leave the water around Terry Fox Day, although some will remain in their larval stage for an additional month. Here's a late-stage larvae found at the end of August. Unlike tiger salamanders, it is exceedingly rare for blue-spotted salamanders to spend the winter underwater in their larval stage. Here is a newly transformed salamander found in the beginning of August. The ponds where they were born often serve as feeding grounds for the juveniles before they disperse into the forest. If you are going to handle these animals, keep it brief and ensure your hands are free from any chemicals, as amphibians can absorb them through their skin.